Hours by The Weeknd. The Weeknd started work on this album in late 2018. The promotional material is said to have been inspired by Joker, Fear and Loathing in Vegas, Casino, and Uncut Gems, a movie The Weeknd makes a cameo in. With a change in tone to the music, how are older fans adapting to the music? How do we feel about it? Here's our honest review of After Hours by The Weeknd.
After Hours.
What video was that? Do you know?
Blinding Light, I believe.
Okay.
He has two music videos out right now.
Okay. All right.
It was either Heartless or Blinding Light.
Okay.
I watched both videos. So he has a trailer for the album, which is like 4 or 5 minutes. Heartless and then Blinding Light.
I hope it was Heartless because I like that song. But yeah.
Okay. The trailer was actually pretty funny too because he's like at I don't know the names of the people that got the late night shows. Fallon, I don't know. It was one of them guys.
So he really tried to do a Joker theme?
He was at a I didn't see the Joker, man. Are we spoiling? I just know he was at a late night show and he's all smiling and he walks out and he got to smile and then he gets to a point where he stops smiling and then he looks mad or looks really sad.
Watch Joker.
And that was pretty much the majority of the trailer.
Okay.
Of the album. How you feel about this album artwork, man?
It's pretty offsetting. I was just like, all right, were we going to a dark place with this? I mean, I felt it from there. But as far for the shot, I was just like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I wasn't really fond of this. Whatever. I was like, oh, we're going with a vampire theme. I was wrong. I thought we was going with a vampire theme.
I can understand you
I
feeling
didn't see
that
the
way.
fangs, but
Yeah.
I see the blood on the teeth and the nose. I was like, oh, vampire theme. But
Right.
no, I was 100% wrong. That's not where we went.
Not at all.
The floor of this project, man. The floor of this project is Weeknd seeming to dealing with breakup and dealing with living in LA and it being an issue for him, as well as Vegas having some type of issues with him. It just seems like he's going through some things and he wanted to find a way to vent, so he vented through the whole fourth album.
Yeah, Weeknd's heartbroken, going through some things, and trying to convey that to us is pretty much the flow of the album.
Highlights, man. Look, I got a couple of highlights. So, Snow Child is fire to me. I love Snow Child. This is probably one of my favorite songs on the whole project, actually. Hardest to Love grew on me the more I listened to the project. Blinding Light as well is another song that I felt like grew on me, even though it feels like it should have been in a 70s movie. It matter of fact, a couple of these songs on here felt like they were from the 70s and that they would have been on Flash Radio if this was Grand Theft Auto.
Yes, nice call. I like that. Yeah,
and like almost borderline wave music in a sense. You know what I'm saying? And he got the help from like El Jalo and Max Martin and like the same people that he normally works with. And you know, those are Blinding Lights grew on me too as well. And I believe that might be it. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I enjoyed Too Late just because of the vibe of the song that it brought with it. Scared to Live, I kind of like the vocals and like the writing in that song. Heartless is one of my favorite tracks on the album just because of the sound. I feel like that's the Weeknd sound that I'm accustomed to and that I enjoy. And I could say, what was it? I believe it was Save Your Tears that I just like the writing on. I didn't really care much for the song.
Lowlights. First of all, this is where I get my disclaimer. We're in the middle of a quarantine. This felt like the worst album to drop during this time. I felt like The Weeknd really dropped this album at a bad time. If he would have dropped it a couple weeks ago like he was planning to, I think it would have been accepted a little bit better. But due to the fact that you're in quarantine, man, I'm never listening to this album again. This is going to have me popping pills and drinking Percocet, drinking lean, you know what I'm saying, trying to look for some Coke because I feel like I need to be depressed about shit. So for him to be going through all of this and then you're stuck in a house too, this is not a good album to listen to for that. So as far as Lowlights go, I just feel like everything was just a mismark for me. You know, I get it. He's going through things. I don't want to say it's whack because I feel like some people will relate to it, but I do feel if you're relating to this album on a whole nother level than most people, I think you should probably go see somebody and listen and let them listen to you talk, and you talk to them like seriously, because this is like coming off of drugs, thinking about jumping back on drugs music. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
I'm just saying, like, this is rough. Some of this album is rough. And I get it, man. You know, you loved Homegirl, and it was all good just a week ago, and Vegas wasn't good to you. The Blinding Lights is messing with you. You got to get out of L.A. You having all types of threesomes, and, like, it sounds like a crazy life. I'm sorry, my life ain't crazy. It's regular as fuck, and this album just don't relate to me on pretty much any level. And I don't want to relate to this album at all either.
That's it?
That's it.
Well, I don't know how I follow that. I didn't enjoy the album, but I wasn't thinking as deep as my man's here was. But it was just too much of an emotional downer to begin with, especially beginning with the first track, Alone Again. As soon as I was listening to it, I'm like, oh, God, I'm not feeling this album.
Did it feel too long?
Too Late came in, and it kind of got me back a little bit. But Hardest to Love came on, and I'm just like, oh, this is one of those. Man. And then, you know, Scared to Live, I said I liked the lyrics in that, but still, the production was a little bit downer. I was not feeling Snow Child.
Really?
At all. I was done by the time Snow Child came on. I had to turn it off. Then I had to come back to it later. So I came back to Escape from LA. Was not feeling it, man. It was just like, maybe this is just not the Weeknd for me, because I know there's like a variety of Weeknd fans that like, you know, this from Weeknd and that from Weeknd. So with that, I was just like, maybe this ain't me. And then Heartless came on, and I'm like, oh, yo, that's dope. But then Faith came on, and I was just like, back down again. Blinding Lights, I do not like. It sounds way too 70s, 80ish for me.
70s.
It's just I can't get with it. I mean, maybe it's just not for me. Not saying it's a terrible song.
It could be on Stranger Things, though.
It could be very much on Stranger Things, but it's just that I can't get with that. I can't get with all that. Just not my sound. And then the rest of the album, I could have just turned it off. I was not really feeling the album. Like, it was just really on a note where it's just like I didn't want to mess with it. Listening to it again this morning, I'm just like, still hasn't changed. So I mean, just the emotional. I don't know, man, because I like emotional albums, but this one wasn't. I wasn't getting with it. I just could not get with it.
That's it.
That's it.
By the way, After Hours title track was trash.
Yes.
And it was super long.
Too
long for no reason.
Yes.
Tried to go through all these changes, and I wasn't feeling it. Final thoughts, man. Look, Weeknd's albums usually are somewhat on a slightly depressing note for the most part. But for some reason, I just feel like his last 3 projects, so this, Starboy, and My Dear Melancholy, whatever it was called, I wasn't really rocking with any of these albums. And I will say,
you didn't like Starboy?
It had some songs up there.
I was fucking with Starboy.
I never listened to it again after we were done reviewing it.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I haven't listened to anything Weeknd past the Beautiful Dark. I can't even remember what the name of the album was.
The
joint that
second
had
album?
You Earned It, and
Yeah.
tell your friends about it, and you know what's the album I'm talking about. The album was actually pretty fire. It was no, hold on, you passed it. You passed
I
it.
did? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, right there. Beauty Behind the Machine. Beauty
Madness.
Behind the Madness.
Yeah.
That album was fire. Outside of that, though, I haven't really listened to anything like repeatedly from him.
Okay.
And even from that album, like, you can ask her, you're not gonna walk in my house and hear Weeknd coming on. So if you want to say my take on the Weeknd's album is trash, then by all means, go ahead and say that. But if you trust my opinion, this album ain't for you, man. Unless you just feel like you were on the verge of going off the edge, there's plenty of R&B albums you can listen to that's more fire, that's less sad,
Well,
and we're gonna recommend them on the next episode.
At the end of the day, I feel like, you know, Weeknd has a signature sound. He has a signature, style. And it comes to whether you are a fan of that or not. I am a fan, but I'm not a diehard fan. I get annoyed with some Weeknd songs. But for the most part, I do enjoy Weeknd as an artist. With this project, I was just not feeling it. I feel like even if I try to listen to it again, I don't know if I'll like maybe get it, as people say. Oh, you didn't really get the album. But it just didn't grab my attention. It really kept, making me want to turn it off. So.
Was it just me, or when it gets to the last song and you've realized it's actually over, you're like, yay, I can listen to something else?
I was thrilled. I was like, yes. Sorry.
Final grade. It's bad when you're excited the album's over. Final grade. Look, man, I like The Weeknd. Miss me with the you don't get it. Everything ain't for everybody. Luckily for him, there's about 4 million people that'll love this project.
Yes.
We're just not 2 of them.
Yes.
This album is getting a dash. I'm going to give it a dash. Because I don't feel like the whole thing is trash. I just feel like it's just not my type of vibe. So I'm going to give it a dash. It's got some cool songs up here, some cool moments. He's still doing some really dope singing, some really dope runs, some funny lyrics at times. But it's more sad than anything.
Well, I'm going to have to give it an X. I mean, hey, I'm not calling it trash, but it's definitely not worth listening to. I'm just saying that. I just don't feel like there's anything to gravitate to. It'll be all right for a little bit while. Like, people probably be rocking this for the next 2 weeks, and then they'll forget about it.